The name that could change the future of the Boston Celtics is not Donovan Mitchell, and that says a lot. As the crisis begins to circle Cleveland, the internet dreams big and points to offensive stars. But what no one expected was that the real gift for Boston would be far from the spotlight. Jarrett Allen, quiet, underrated, and dangerously perfect for this roster. The Cavaliers are slipping. It is not a total collapse, but the tension is obvious. The project has stalled, the second apron is tightening, and hard decisions are approaching. Keeping everything as it is feels more and more risky. And then the unexpected happened. The idea of shaking up the core is starting to gain traction behind the scenes. Boston watches in silence. Allen has never been a headline player. His numbers do not scream. They whisper efficiency, solid defense, rebounds at the right time, screens that free shooters. That is exactly what the Celtics need right now. Not another star, an invisible pillar. But does he still deliver at a high level? The numbers say yes. In 17 games this season, Allen is averaging 14 points, 7.2 rebounds, and nearly 58% shooting from the field. At his peak, he was an all-star, and on a roster with Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and Peyton Pritchard, he would not need to be anything more than what he already is, a specialist. The issue is Cleveland. The two big lineup worked in the past, but today it seems to limit the team's ceiling. And with financial penalties knocking on the door, moving off a significant contract may be more strategy than weakness. For Boston, the path would be complex. A three-team trade. Pieces like Anthony Simons heading elsewhere. Depth flowing to the Cavs. Allen landing in Boston as the missing gear. Unpopular opinion. Allen would have more real impact on the Celtics than any scoring wing available. Because championships are also won away from the ball. And if he arrives, the message will be clear. Boston no longer wants to shine more. It wants to control the game. The final question is simple and uncomfortable. Will the Celtics act before the rest of the league realizes the obvious? The Los Angeles Clippers season is already over, even before it truly began. And the name that emerges in the middle of this chaos is more surprising than it seems. With a 6-win, 20-loss record, the team that dreamed big for 2025 has become a daily reminder of badly calculated decision, an aging roster, lack of speed, little shot creation, and then the unexpected happened. A Clippers insider mentioned the Boston Celtics as a central piece in a possible desperate attempt at salvation. The target? Anthony Simons. But does this make sense? Or is it just smoke meant to hide a much bigger fire? Since the departures of Chris Paul and Bradley Beal, the Clippers simply cannot organize their offense when James Harden sits. Kawhi Leonard does not create for others. Harden can no longer carry that burden alone. The result is predictable. Stagnant offense, losing streak, a team without identity. It was in this context that Tomer Azarli raised the possibility. Simons is on an expiring contract. He has struggled off the bench in Boston, and in theory, he would solve an immediate shot creation problem. But what no one expected was the other side of this story. For the Celtics, this conversation only makes sense if Ivica Zubac is involved, and that is where everything changes. Boston is looking for physical presence, rim protection, someone to ease the load on Neemias Queta. Zubac provides that, but giving him up would be an admission of total failure in Los Angeles. And here lies the strategic mistake. Trading a functional center for a declining guard just to try to save a lost season can cost years. Even more so with the 2026 first-round pick no longer under their control. Every move now carries double the weight. Some argue that Bogdan Bogdanovic and Brook Lopez could be part of this package. But would Boston really accept older players for a young asset, even one struggling? That is the thorny part of the discussion. Simons may not be producing right now, but his market value still outweighs the Clippers' desperation. Unpopular opinion. This trade would help Boston far more than Los Angeles, because the Celtics can afford to wait. The Clippers cannot. And if this deal moves forward, the message will be clear. One team is building the future with patience. The other is racing against the clock. Who do you think will make the first mistake? The message came straight from Brad Stevens and completely changed the mood in Boston. The Celtics are not desperate, but they are not standing still either. And that says far more than it seems. Behind the scenes of the NBA, rumors pop up every day. But when it comes to Boston, almost nothing leaks without a purpose. And then the unexpected happened. In the middle of what sounded like a routine comment, Stevens dropped the biggest hint yet about the team's plans for the trade deadline. "We will not put a ceiling on this group." The sentence is simple. The impact is massive. But does that mean an imminent trade, or just a carefully calculated chess move? The landscape is full of uncertainty. The Eastern Conference is crowded. The gap between 3rd and 9th place is minimal. No one truly knows who they are, not even the teams themselves. Stevens made that clear by saying everyone is still figuring things out. And that perspective changes everything, because making a move now could be premature. Waiting too long could be fatal. Boston watches, evaluates, and calculates risk. There is no room for financial mistakes. The team cannot take on more salary, so the options are clear. Add depth, create cap flexibility, or stockpile future assets. 2 of those 3 cards are already in the Celtics' hand, and the name at the center of that equation is familiar. Anthony Simon. It is no secret that one of the most likely paths involves finding a partner willing to absorb his contract. That would help ease the payroll and avoid heavy penalties. The other path is far more aggressive, pushing all the chips in to land a high-level big man, an immediate impact, a move that raises the team's ceiling. But is it worth making a move right now? Stevens' comments make it clear that nothing will be done on impulse. If it is not a good deal for everyone, it will not happen. Simple as that. And that stance can be read in 2 ways. Absolute confidence in the current roster, or strategic patience to strike at the right moment. Uncomfortable opinion. The Celtics' biggest mistake would be acting too early just to respond to outside pressure. Their biggest win may come from waiting for someone else to blink first, and when that happens, Boston will be ready. The final question hangs in the air. Will the Celtics use the trade deadline to fine-tune the roster, or to land a silent move that no one sees coming? Anthony Davis linked to the Boston Celtics. That sentence alone changes the weight of the entire season. When Jayson Tatum went down with a torn Achilles during the playoffs, the consensus was brutal. Boston would sink. A lottery team. A lost year. But what no one expected was the Celtics ignoring the script. Even without their best player, the team sits 4th in the East and owns the 4th best offense in the NBA. Jaylen Brown took control. The team responded. And now the league is starting to look at Boston differently. And then the unexpected happened. The name Anthony Davis emerged as a potential trade target. But does this actually make sense? The crisis in Dallas opened a door. The firing of Nico Harrison completely changed the franchise's direction. Davis, brought in as the centerpiece of the Luka Doncic trade, became the symbol of an expensive mistake. In 2 seasons, he has played just 21 games. Availability became a question mark. Trust became a risk. Still, when Davis is on the floor, the impact is absurd. Dominant defense. Rim protection that alters entire offensive game plan. The best rebound percentage of his career. A true nightmare for any opponent. Boston is among the teams mentioned as a possible destination, and that is where the tension lives. From a basketball standpoint, Davis would instantly raise the Celtics' ceiling. An elite big next to Brown. Suffocating defense. Physical presence that shows up in decisive moments. But the cost is heavy. Injury history. Massive salary. The second apron looming. Brad Stevens knows that. Financially, the trade does not fit. Under new owner Bill Chisholm, the priority is control, flexibility, avoiding future penalties. Bringing in Davis would push the Celtics in the exact opposite direction. More spending, less margin, more risk. And there is another uncomfortable detail. To complete a trade of this magnitude, important pieces would have to leave. Peyton Pritchard would likely be part of the package. That would open a new hole. Who runs the offense while Tatum works his way back? Rusty and uncertain. Uncomfortable opinion. Anthony Davis is the kind of name that excites fans but scares serious executives. The Celtics do not need a headline move. They need sustainability. What no one expected was Boston being strong enough to say no. And now comes the question that splits opinion. Should the Celtics gamble on immediate risk or trust that with a healthy Tatum, patience is the smarter path? Comment below. This debate is just getting started.